Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 85. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. And of course, I'm joined by my co host, Scobie1.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back, my friend. We are without Lunatic Oblivion for back to back weeks, and this time he is down over in Jamaica on vacation. So, wish him the best of luck and have a great time down there, and looking forward to having him back here on the show. But, how have you been, man?
I've been doing well. Just another normal week. How about you?
Good, man. Just finished up through crazy work week. Had a crazy day today at work. It was pretty steady. Back to the grind tomorrow, 11 to 9, working and good.
Word.
Looking forward to my days off on Wednesday and Thursday coming up.
Oh,
So I
for
can
sure.
get some gaming in because I gotta figure out what I'm gonna play next. It'll probably be Rage 2, I think, or if my finances are looking good, maybe I'll make that purchase of Hogwarts Legacy and finally dive into that wonderful, glorious game that is.
Hell yeah, you should.
Yeah, but
Hell yeah, you should.
man, let's dive into what we've been playing over the past week here, and thank goodness my list is back to being more than yours, but not by much. It's only by one, and I see you continued your journey through Resident Evil 4. Is this still living up to the excitement, or what's going on with this game here?
Man, absolutely. It has just been a blast to play. Going through my upgrades. I got the DLC with like the treasure maps, so I'm always making it a point to like
Hmm.
go back through, find all the treasures, things like that. Admittedly, it's taken me a lot longer to play through the chapters, but I also think that's part of the allure there, is because, I'm spending so much more time in individual areas, and I really get to appreciate the aesthetics and the things that they've done, and what they've been working on in the game, and their ability to add to the game, but not make it a completely different game has been absolutely just fire. Like Lunatic is saying in the chat, "What's up, buddy?" It's absolute fire, one
Yeah,
hundred percent.
yeah.
So
Maybe I will have to pick it up because I do remember playing through the original Resident Evil 4 back in the day, and I played it and beat it, and it was just a crazy game, and just to have it at its highest fidelity now might be on a whole nother level. And people were saying it like it looks phenomenal, it plays phenomenal,
yeah,
so
it
it's really
it
good.
does it does, and what's nice with it being so long from since the original, is like I remember playing this game. I remember playing pieces. I remember doing certain things, but there's enough to where I'm like, was this in the original? Was this not in the original? Like there's a whole mission where you play as the side character for a minute, and I'm like, I don't remember this. Do I remember this? Maybe I remember this. I don't think I remember this. But like being able to do that fun stuff that maybe was new, I'm not 100% sure, and still come out with the same game that I knew and loved, when I was younger. I mean, top notch.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Another game that I finished up playing this week was Tinykin. That was the like platformer. I know Lunatic Oblivion actually played through, and that was one of the games he beat I think last year, and it was an overall enjoyable game. I actually ended up giving it an 8 out of 10 because it was at the point where I was like, there's nothing for me to complain about this game. It was an overall great experience, a really fun, quick game. I beat in like 4 or 5 play sessions, so it took me about maybe 5 hours to beat. So it was a really quick game and overall fun. It was a nice, fun story. You're trying to figure out why are you little, how do I get bigger again, the whole Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and how do we reverse it. So it was a pretty awesome game there. But Scott, I see that you're still playing through Jedi Fallen Order. Are you trying to play through this game and beat it before Survivor comes out, or are you just fucking around in this?
Yes. So this was game numero uno up until Resident Evil 4 came out. I'm working on the Resident Evil 4. I've been piecing together some Jedi Fallen Order, but I'm willing to put that on the back burner a little bit more because that gets me closer to the 28th when Survivor drops, where I can
Hmm.
just get that fresh cutoff
Yeah.
from one game into the next. So yeah, I've been pushing through, just not as adamantly about it, since Resident Evil 4 came out. But once I'm done with Resident Evil 4 and I'm working on like NG Plus for that, then I'm gonna turn my sights into Fallen Order and get that banged out before the 28th.
Okay.
So,
That's awesome. And obviously, we've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, playing some Warzone. I was telling you yesterday, I was like, I'm at the point now where I'm getting nightly dubs every night.
Yep.
Whether it's you with you, or I'm playing with Roger or Diane or anybody else that hops in, whether it's Matt or Kyle as well. Glad shout out Matt. I don't know if he's here, but I'm glad he was able to figure out what was wrong with his headset. I mean, did you unplug it and plug it back in? Like, mind blown.
I wasn't even going that far. I was going to say, hey, glad he was able to fix that. We'll leave the details of that here personally.
We got to give him the shout out for not unplugging it and plugging it back in.
Man, my poor guy. My man's was fighting for his life with that microphone last night.
And he didn't do the first step in any IT work.
Well, he did, but it sometimes it just doesn't go in as far as you think it did,
Yeah.
and especially with headsets like that, just little bit, it
Mm,
really does make a difference because you'll only get one connection unless it's both, unless you
yeah.
have that fully plugged in.
Right.
Oh man,
Yeah, but other than that, I really I checked out
yeah.
MLB The Show 2023. Got to really shove it in there. Just get it in.
And
But
so I'm saying sometimes you just gotta spit on it and just
hey now.
like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a real thing, I wouldn't have been licking radio cables in Qatar. I
Yeah.
promise you.
I believe it. But yeah, man, I checked out MLB The Show 2023. It's on Game Pass, so why not? And obviously the start of the MLB season is here. Red Sox won today. Shout out to them. They're 2-1 on the season. I'll take it. And MLB The Show was really good. Really enjoying the gameplay. I checked out the whole like my team where you open the packs and you build your team and play through challenges and stuff like that. But I'm really eager to dive into the Negro League and the historical gameplay that comes through there. Scott, have you ever played MLB The Show at all?
I really don't do a lot of sports video games.
Okay.
Growing up, I played the sports. And for me, video games was like entirely different. It was an entirely different realm. Where you had your fantasy and like all that good stuff, and sports were sports. If I wanted to do sports, I would go out and do sports.
Okay.
That sort of thing. So I haven't really dived into the sports video game market. And I won't make any fake promises because I don't really intend to either.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
So, but they do look awesome. I see them every year, and they do look great.
Yeah.
And it's one of those like good for them, like for making this game, and I mean changing the cover and reselling everybody the same game every year.
Yeah, basically. At least I'm not buying this game year after year because it's on Game Pass
Yeah.
day one every year for the past 3 years now. Since
Yeah,
it's,
and
since it,
arguably it's the same thing we do for Call of Duty
yeah,
or like Halo.
yeah.
Like
Well, the issue with Call of Duty is that they really do try to reinvent the wheel every year, but then they make the game worse somehow instead of just sticking to what made the game great back in the day.
it's because they try to reinvent the wheel so much they end up with a square, and you can't push a cart with squares.
No, it's not going to work. But yeah. Other than that, I checked out some Overwatch 2 this week with Lunatic and the rest of the squad over at Lunacy Arts, and just have fun. We actually won a lot of games when we were playing ranked, and continually to rank higher than Lunatic Oblivion. And he's just like, "What the fuck?" And so that's always great when that happens because he's
Oh,
he's, he's he's the better player. So I don't know how I'm ranking above him.
So he's basically the Red Skull for your team.
Yeah.
He's always got another Switch treasure he can't possess.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, man, let's move on to the upcoming game releases. There's actually a decent amount coming out this week. I'm looking forward to at least two of these. I'm gonna kick it off here with Road 96 Mile Zero, which comes out on April 4th. I played through the first game. This is like a prequel to that game, and you're gonna be kind of figure out why the events that happened in Road 96 happened before. So really looking forward to playing that. I know Lunatic Oblivion played through it and beat it because that was one of the games I requested for his Sunday streams. It's on Game Pass, and I believe this one will be coming to Game Pass day one as well. So, really excited for this one. But Scott, what game on the list here are you most excited for?
So none of these have really stuck out to me too much as far as this list went this week. Not that any of these are particularly bad games.
Hmm.
I am excited for all of my last gen brothers and sisters to hop into that Hogwarts Legacy. I am interested to see the Road 96. I know that was a game that you loved, and I'm interested to see how that playthrough goes and how you end up seeing that and how that fares up against the original.
Yeah.
But other than that, I gotta give it to we were just talking about an EA Sports PGA Tour. I'm probably gonna play the shit out of that.
Okay.
Me and my sports games, I love it.
You gonna play
No.
Steph Curry in that?
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Cause Steph
No, I was
Curry's a
gonna.
playable character in PGA Tour.
And see, I didn't know that because I don't pay attention to the sports games, man. I don't, and it's a sad thing because I mean it's definitely a market that a lot of people really enjoy,
Mm,
but I just haven't had the interest in that. Not when they can remake my old games from 18 years ago and I can just play those again
right.
or play Skyrim for the 18th time
On a toaster or whatever you
on
want to play it on.
on my Samsung fridge.
Right.
They'll do
Um,
anything but give me Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Another game here on the list that's coming out is Meet Your Maker. That also comes out on the 4th. This is a game that's also coming to PlayStation Plus, like free game of April as well. So that's pretty awesome to see there. But this is a game where like you designed your own like map or arena, and like the other team has to like raid you there. So that's really excited. I do hear myself echoing right now.
It does seem fun though. Let me, yeah, there we go. Let me go ahead and post this back for anybody who has been paying attention to the Spotify's or hearing me live. I sounded like I was in a trash can or I was calling in from a landline to a very nice sounding radio show. So I went out and I bought myself a new mic. So we're still trying to deal with some of that and making sure we don't get any echoes. So my apologies if that was coming through twice for some of you guys.
Oh, good. And let's see here. Any of these other ones really stand out? Creed: Rise to Glory. That's another PSVR 2 game coming out on the 4th. This is obviously based off of the Creed movies, and I just seen the Creed 3. I don't know if you can see, but one of these cups up here is from the Creed movie, and it's a really good franchise. I'm just curious to see how this game's going to play out for the PSVR 2 because they really do have like those haptic feedbacks in the controllers and also in the headset, which is something that most VR headsets don't have. So when you get hit in the face, like, are you really going to feel that like tap or whatever? So like that would be pretty cool to have that
You just gotta
immersion.
you just gotta get the haptic boot suit like they had in Ready Player One.
Yeah, exactly. So when you get knocked the fuck out, you're going to be laying in your bedroom sleeping
Or
with the
or
headset on.
depending on what you're playing, maybe you're playing GTA 5 and those haptic suits, you can feel everything.
Mm.
Everything.
Everything. But yeah, if you don't got any more that you're really excited, looking forward to on this list here, I'll just run through the rest of the games that are coming out here. We got Grimoire Once More coming to the PS4, 5, Switch on April 4th. Um, Batora Lost Haven coming to the Switch on April 6th. Curse of the Sea Rats coming to basically all platforms on April 6th. Everspace 2 coming to the PC on the 6th. Paparazzi, which is like Nintendogs meets Pokemon Snap, kind of. So that's coming to the Switch on April 6th.
Well, hold the phone. I wasn't pumped for anything.
Yeah, now you are.
Yeah.
Can't wait to take pictures of all the puppies.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the games that are coming out this week. So it'll be a pretty interesting week. There's at least 2 games that I'm checking out for sure. So we'll see how that goes. But let's move on to our first ad break. So if you guys want to pay attention to this exclusive content, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel here. We'll be right back in about 3 minutes. Let's move on here to our next part of the podcast. We got some industry news. Obviously, we got the whole update here for the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal, and this one isn't in regards to the deal specifically, but findings and more investigation in regards to this because of what Sony opened up a can of whoop ass. The United States Congress is now accusing and looking into Sony for anti-competitive tactics against Xbox in Japan because more numbers are coming out. Basically, they were paying developers and other companies basically to keep their games in Japan, like out of Japan altogether in their consoles. Like you can see the numbers like sales wise in the United States right now. The PlayStation has 12 million units sold or something like that, and Xbox has 10 million in the United States. So they're only 2 million behind there. You go to Japan, oh bro, it's like night and day difference. It's like the Xbox doesn't exist in Japan. So clearly something's going on here, and I hope that they can figure that out and just even the playing field. Just make it fair. Obviously, don't try to buy your competition out of here. Like, nope, you're not allowed to be here. Sorry, this is our space. Like, that's not going to fly. So we'll see how that goes. But Scott, what's going on over in the GDC? That was just how a couple days ago that was going on there. Obviously, we covered about some events that got canceled the last time. What's going on here?
Yeah, so the last thing we had talked about with the Game Developers Conference was the Rust panel getting canceled due to some real life death threats and things like that. More news has come out of that. So there were reports of some assaults at off-site events. some druggings, some things like that. Just a lot of bad news coming out of there. Now, whether or not they were on or off site, doesn't make a difference to me. Shouldn't happen anyway. It's pretty fucking obvious. You just don't do that to people. But it looks like a lot of it was off site, so maybe these off site things are maybe just not gonna be a thing in the future. But yeah, so there's been like multiple people with their drinks spiked with roofies. I mean, there was one specific event happened during an after hours karaoke event. Um, Anybody in here knows me, knows I love karaoke. Don't ruin my karaoke event. Definitely don't do this to people to ruin a karaoke event.
Right.
But yeah, lots of bad news coming out of there. So there was Guy Blomberg says we've been informed of multiple folks that were roofied last Thursday night in San Francisco, most probably at the karaoke event we hosted. Thankfully, they had friends who looked after them, and they are okay, all things considered. So I mean, looks like it could have been a lot worse than it was, but even just that little bit is already bad enough.
Right.
So things weren't looking good out of there. Just more bad news to come out of that, the Game Developers Conference. Not to overshine the good news, but sometimes it just does that, and that's the nature of the beast,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right. Well, because
So,
it kind of leads into our the next topic here in regards to E3 because
yeah,
these in-person events are getting more and more scarce because like one, people are at this point don't even feel safe going to these events, and then two, it's just like it sucks to see, but some of them are getting canceled now. E3 was confirmed for this year. Now it's being confirmed to be canceled because everybody is pulled out. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, EA, Ubisoft, Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda. They're not going to be at E3. They're going to be outside
doing
of
their own
E3 doing
bullshit.
their own thing leading up to Summer Games Fest, and Summer Games Fest is just way better in my opinion. Like Jeff Keighley has been doing a phenomenal job year after year with his events, whether it's the Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards in December. So, and unfortunately, E3, this might be it, man. I don't see E3 ever coming back again. This might be it, and that's sad to see because they've been around. This was one of the events I was like, man, I really can't wait to go to E3 when I get older,
Yeah,
and never gonna have that chance to.
growing up, and E3 was it.
Yeah,
E3 and G4 TV, like when everything, I mean, that little prime, like give me all of the content time. And seeing this, I mean, and this one was canceled not because of coronavirus or anything like that. It was just because interest wasn't garnered. Because Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, Ubisoft, they're all being selfish. As far as I'm concerned, they're all being selfish.
right.
Um,
Well, my
but
Xbox is like, why do I need to be at E3 when I can be across the street at our own Microsoft theater?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess this was a long time coming.
Yeah,
I mean, it really was, especially when you start looking at how big just the gaming developer companies have gotten over the years.
yeah,
They don't need E3 to introduce things. We have information at like the speed of light here.
pretty much.
This isn't back in the day where you would only find out what was coming out because you went to E3 or because you saw E3 footage.
Right,
I mean, at any given time you are minutes away from any information you want for that. I mean, look at what we're doing. This
right,
is gaming news. This is industry news. This is stuff like that. They don't have to wait for E3.
right. We got you covered all year round, week after week.
Yeah, week after week after week. We've got you here. You don't need E3. You just need We 3.
Right. Yeah. Whenever we have our third person here, but yeah.
Those compadres.
Well, some of the other podcasts I listened to, they brought up a great point. Over Paris Lilly brought it up over at Games Xcast over at Kind of Funny, and they mentioned it was just like these companies learned a lot from pandemic. They realized we don't need to have a physical event to garner attention or awareness on a game. They can actually pre-record shows now, so they don't have to worry about running into any hiccups or any potential technical difficulties if they were playing a game demo on stage. They no longer have to worry about it messing up. If it fucks up, they can just re-record it again. Like everything can be set set up how it wants, and you can predetermine how long your show is going to be without having to, oh, this person might take forever, might do this, might do that, like, and it just saves money. They no longer have to buy the booth and pay for this and pay for that, pay for those people to go to those events, pay for all the food and the hotels and travel and whatever else needs. You cut all of that cost out by hosting a digital event.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about Scobie One not shutting up.
Right.
We here do live.
Right. But yeah, man, enough of the game events. I'm sure that there'll be more news in regards to that as we get closer to E3 Summer Games Fest time and for June. But one last industry news here. This is an update to Dark and Darker's events that have been going on. What's going on here with this now?
And so lots of confusion coming out of that. Iron Mace, the team who had been creating Dark and Darker and was currently given the cease and desist by Nexon. Uh, Allegedly it was by accident, but a GoFundMe was published for them. And they had said things like basically that it was, their plan is to bleed us dry in legal fees and court costs. And so I guess they had preemptively submitted this GoFundMe. Not sure. So trying to see what really happened there, but it's making a lot of confusion because it's that's what's with your case, what's going on. I mean, if these initial like allegations were heinous and just exacerbated, then maybe what's going on if you need to GoFundMe to try to do these legal battles, because if it's going to go that far, do they have some ground?
Right.
But what did happen is in the very very short time that it was released, they did make about $46,000, and I think it was only up for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was up for a very very small amount of time. So the people are with them, which is awesome. I do want to see that. I mean, it was a fun game. I would love to see that keep coming out and get the treatment it does deserve. But we'll see how everything goes with this Nexon Iron Mace feud going on with Dark and Darker.
Right.
Hopefully the good guys win. But as long as we get a decent game out of it,
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, no, it's pretty unfortunate for those guys to have to go through this, especially with how this game was well received when it was first in its test and play test and stages and stuff like that. So more to follow.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll definitely keep following that as that progresses for sure. But on to our next ad break. This one will be about 2 minutes. Again, if you guys want to experience the content that we do talk about over these ad breaks, be sure to drop a subscribe here on Twitch. Other than that, stay tuned. We'll definitely look into more live service games here as we move into our meat of our episode here with our gaming news, and we're going to kick it off with Xbox this week. Update to their services. Microsoft has confirmed that they have stopped and ended the $1 a month promotion for new users, and I was actually sad to see this go because this was a great way for people to test out this service and see if Game Pass was for them, and if it was, then you can, the months after that, it goes up to regular price. But I'm sure that everyone's understanding the value of Game Pass. The entire games industry understands that Game Pass is the number one value in gaming right now, and there's nothing that really can compare to it, honestly. So definitely sad to see that in a way. But in regards to Xbox hardware, they did announce the Elite Series 2 controller got a new color scheme, blue and a red one respectively. These are colors that you could technically do if you did like the custom versions of the Elite Series 2, but now you'll be able to buy the Elite Series 2 core where it's just a controller at the stores. So that's awesome to see there. Interesting one here that released this week was a patent that was filed for an Xbox controller that features a touchscreen for accessing saved loadouts or social media interactions. And there for a while, everyone's like, "Oh, Microsoft is filing with this new thing," and people didn't do their due diligence and looked in who filed this patent, and this was from Turtle Beach. And everyone's like, oh, okay, because like those third party controllers aren't always the best to really rock out with, but it really has me intrigued to see that an Xbox controller might have some really next gen features that might be useful. So what's your thoughts on that one?
Last gen if you were a fan of the Wii U.
Right.
So no, I think that's really cool. I think they could bring an extra piece into it. It really depends on what their intent is with it, and what they're gonna be using for their hardware and how it's gonna look on the controller and things like that. Usability is a big piece of it, like
Right.
especially ergonomics with the controller. So curious to see what their plan is
Right.
to throw a touch screen on an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see play out. If they do it right, good for them. I mean,
Right.
if they do it right, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna follow. And we'll see what it's gonna be used for like saved loadouts. I mean,
Yeah.
what it's just curious. It's just curious, you're right,
Yeah.
because you just select this stuff. Social media, I could see maybe like if it's just like kind of like quick options like 1 2 3 4 5 or
Yeah.
like
Being able to quickly share a clip.
share to Twitter, yeah, like clip and share, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, once we see what their intent is and what they're going to be doing about it, that could definitely be a super awesome upgrade to the controller that a lot of people will be able to enjoy.
Right. And then last up here in regards to Xbox hardware news is that the Xbox Series X is getting a Diablo 4 bundle. And when I first got this news broke across my phone, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be cool. They probably made this custom Xbox Series X that has Diablo. It's all lit up on fire or something." Nope. It's just the basic Xbox Series X bundled with the game and a basic controller. And I was like, I was really disappointed because all of the custom Xbox Series S's they do that you can win from giveaways and stuff like that. They never sell them as like traditional bundles or anything like that. But I was like, this could have been a prime opportunity for you to make a custom Diablo 4 console that is going
It
to
could have been
sell.
fire.
It could have sold exponentially well. Like
Oh yeah.
it was a no-brainer. But I'm wondering if there's like they probably wanted to like hold back a little bit because obviously the whole Activision Blizzard deal, like it's not their game yet, so they don't want to make a bundle with them yet. So maybe once it's theirs, they can be like, "Oh, sorry guys, here's the actual console now."
And maybe that's their plan, is to get us so riled up because we don't get that custom Xbox
Right. But at least,
because of the Activision Blizzard deal that has just been taking so long that they want to get the consumer in on it and put
yeah,
us in the fight and be like, yo, give me my Diablo 4 Xbox, please.
right. That's all we're asking for.
No, it could have been awesome, man. Just thinking about, oh, Diablo 4 Xbox, you have so many like ideas already. LED light changing. I mean, it
Yeah,
could have been
they
fire
dropped the
quite
ball on that one.
literally.
But
Yeah, to say the least.
to say the least. And then just some quick updates in regards to games that are exclusive to Xbox. The Ark franchise, obviously, Ark 1 was a multi platform game, but Ark 2 is going to be Xbox exclusive. And it has been delayed until 2024. I'm okay with it. I'm never going to be against games that get delayed because we need that. We need that extra time to be able to polish the game, make sure the game comes out. That's a rehash story every time. I can hear myself echoing just a little bit there. But they did announce Ark Survival Ascended, which is a remastered version of the original Ark. But this time, this game's going to be built on the Unreal Engine 5, so that's really awesome. I mean, that's phenomenal to hear that. I mean, we know how powerful and how wonderful that the Unreal Engine 5 looks, and basically in this edition, you get the base game. Will include the island, SOTF, and all the non-canon DLC maps, which will be added to us over time. So we'll see how that plays out. And because like Ark is already on Game Pass, like you can buy like a premium upgrade pass or like something like that. You can pay like $20 or $30 and you get this like upgraded version of the game. So you do have options to be able to check this out. I've never played Ark. Have you ever checked out Ark at all?
I played it a little bit.
Okay.
Not too much to where I was too invested.
Hmm.
But it was one of my games where I was when I was going around trying to see, hey, I'm looking for something new. What's going to interest me? What's going to kind of get me? That was one of them.
Hmm.
Still very good. It was fun. I mean, it's still in my Steam library. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of people love it.
Hmm.
I thought it was great. I just didn't really get too into it at the time.
Right.
And maybe that was a huge miss on my end.
Right. Yeah, I've never played Ark like I said, but Ark 2 has me really excited just the fact that they have Vin Diesel as like one of the main characters in the upcoming sequel, and like I really enjoy his performance and the game. The previews that we have already seen, the trailers and stuff like that, has me really excited for it. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But Scott, what's going on over in the Nintendo world?
Man, speaking of trailers that get you excited, right? So Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, as we know, is coming out here relatively soon. But it was announced that there is a special edition OLED Switch that will be coming with it. It's not the upgrade we wanted,
Right.
but
How do you drop
it
the ball on
looks
that?
real good. It looks real good.
Why
Um,
not announce this as the Switch 2 special
yeah,
edition?
like the flagship for yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're still working on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
And as you guys can see here on screen, this is the little trailer of showing you what it looks like. It looks really fucking dope.
I'm saying it looks awesome. It looks fantastic. I just really would have liked to have seen that on some upgraded hardware
Right,
other than the OLED screen.
right. You imagine if they just
Uh,
remade the OG Switch with it and not the OLED version. They just went the cheapest route possible.
they just went straight OG. Man, no, it looks great. It looks fantastic. And I mean, for anybody who doesn't have a Switch yet, but is looking into the Switch or venturing into that, and is a big fan of Zelda, well, I mean, not that those two would generally coincide, but this is the one. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks fantastic. It just looks awesome. I mean, even as it's sitting there in his case with, you got your Joy Cons on the controller. I mean, just imagine that sitting on your desk or on your mantle or something like that. It just looks good.
right. That's going to be
I'm
like a
not angry about
centerpiece.
it.
You got some friends over there. I'm like, yo, that Switch is
Yeah.
dope. That looks fire.
Yeah, exactly. You could unplug it and put it in the center of the table, like
Right.
Thanksgiving. Be like, hey, what's this? Be like, oh, that is actually my Legend of Zelda Special Edition OLED Nintendo
Right.
Switch.
Right. And see, Xbox dropped the ball because you imagine if you had your centerpiece Diablo 4 Xbox tower that looks like it's on
Yeah,
fire the whole time.
that's what I'm saying. You just turn it on, you got red LEDs in your vents.
It looks like it's blowing
Man,
fire and smoke up.
yeah.
Yeah. Dropped the ball on
Man,
that one there.
they did. The Xbox icon could have been the Diablo icon. You just press that. Man,
Oh, man. All right.
they just need to hurry up and buy this shit so we can get it.
Yeah. No.
That's
Right.
all we gotta do. Just buy it already.
Exactly.
But yeah, speaking on with Nintendo still a little bit more, what we also got is a little bit of news coming out of Pokemon Go. So, Pokemon Go is raising the prices for remote raid passes. Not a lot of people are happy about that. I'm a little indifferent. It's okay to me. Doesn't bug me too much. But a lot of people who do the remote raids, they are pretty angry, and rightfully so. Especially if you're in a spot where you can't just get out and go do raids all day or anything like that. You live in a remote area, stuff like that.
Right.
Uh,
But
but I get it a little bit because the remote raid pass also kind of undid what some of Pokemon Go was about, was getting up and getting out there and getting with people and going and doing these things.
right.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. I'm not too terribly mad or affected by it that much, but I know a lot of people are, and a lot of people are pretty pissed about that.
Right. And I haven't played Pokemon Go in a long while, but I just don't see the purpose of raising the prices. It's not like it's costing you anything to make these raid passes.
Yeah, and I think it was more just for an income base and to help make players kind of avoid using them
I
um,
guess,
and
like you
just
say,
go
but
to
like
the raid.
what if those people that need to use these because they're not close to any raids.
Mhm.
Now they got to suffer because one, they can't go out to them anymore.
Yep.
Now they're twice as expensive. Now I don't want to play your game anymore. Now you just lost a player.
Yeah. I stopped playing that off and on for a bit when I just kept everything kept getting full. My
Yeah,
all my boxes
everything.
kept getting full. I've bought in so many upgrades for Pokemon storage and for item storage, and then 20 minutes later it's already full.
Right. It's just that's blew my mind how quickly that filled, and then like how much it really costs to upgrade your thing, and then you're just like, why? Like, make it unlimited. Like, why do I'm paying for virtual storage?
Yeah, and that was a question that I had played. That a question that I had when I was playing, but like still, uh, It is what it is. I mean, upgrades are a part of every game.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If you're gonna go out there much, if you're gonna go out there a whole bunch, and you're gonna do that, guess what? You're gonna need some more storage, and you're gonna need some upgrades.
Right.
They gotta make money somehow.
But I was a casual player, barely played, and still filled my shit up. Like that's a bit excessive. Like it's actually, I do agree. That's probably one of the reasons why I stopped playing is because I couldn't hit no more Pokestops. I had no more rooms for items. Couldn't go
Hmm.
catch Pokemon because I had no place to put them. It's just like I don't want to play the game no more. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No Pokestops, no experience. No Pokemon, no experience.
Right. So what else am I doing? Oh, I got to spend money now. This
Yeah.
free game. A free game. I got to spend money now to keep playing the game. So I might as well have bought the game for $60. By the time I'm done upgrading my shit, no, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely spent more than $60 on that thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's what kept me playing is because I wanted my money's worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever gonna get rid of everything like that, where everything's free all the time and everything is completed. But yeah, no, not a lot of people are happy about that. And I mean, I guess starting with the raid pass, not a good choice for them.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
What's also not a good look for somebody here?
man,
Excuse me.
if we're talking about not a good look, we're talking about The Last of Us Part One on PC. Man, it has been getting absolutely just demolished in ratings. The port, not not great.
At
It
all.
has been getting shredded on. I'm more upset because I was excited to see this come to PC. I was excited to see, how this was gonna look, and it doesn't matter how it looks because it doesn't even operate well.
Not at all.
And the port was absolutely jacked up. A lot of people are giving a lot of heat to
Yeah.
the porting team that did this. Yeah, not a good look at all.
Yeah, I'm looking here at
Or-
Metacritic, and it has a 1.7 user score, and it has a
Yeah,
61 Metascore, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oof.
yeah. I saw the wince, like the painful wince, and it's. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Right, and
Um,
it's so like why did it come out so awfully? Like you delayed it too. You can't forget that they delayed this shit, and
If they didn't delay it, it wouldn't have been that bad.
who
But they
knows?
delayed it, and they had the extra time.
Right now,
Well,
it's
no,
now it
I'm
looks
saying the
worse.
reception probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have been as bad. Be like, oh well, whatever. They rushed it, they pushed it out. They're probably gonna fix it in a patch.
Right.
And now it's like, no, they held on to this.
Right.
They held on to it. They waited. They had extra time, and then they took a hot toddy
Right,
all over
and the
anybody who was excited to play this game.
and like they're riding like the highest wave possible that The Last of Us has
It-
ever been on, and they just fucking
Yeah.
fumbled. They fell off the
There is
surfboard.
no excuse for that.
They
Um,
like they dropped the bag on this one. Worse
so-
than Xbox
and-
with the Diablo 4 shit.
The porting team, however, they've already also been criticized for other ports that they've done
Yeah,
over the PC, and they've been just historically not awesome.
not at all. And it
So
sucks.
the choice to go with them still kind of weird, kind of not sure. And then you know what? If you keep doing what you've always done, you're gonna get what you always got. If you
Right.
keep using a team that can't port to fucking PC, you're gonna get a game that doesn't fucking port to PC.
All right. And if you keep doing the same
I
thing
mean-
and expecting different results, it's the definition of insanity.
Yeah,
So you might want to switch
exactly.
it up there, buddy.
And that was a royal screw up. I mean, especially like you had said with The Last of Us being at like height of pop culture, and then so many people excited to play this game, and it's just god awful.
Just imagine
It's-
like Cyberpunk, but like worse. Like that's really what the game was
Cyberpunk wasn't
looking.
even that bad. This is that bad.
This is just terrible, dude.
Cyberpunk was a victim to people's demands because they wanted a next gen game on a last gen console, and they
Yeah.
said, "Give us what we want and give it to us now."
Right.
These guys had time. They've had so much time to port this to PC properly. They've had so much time, and they absolutely screwed it. This is like, to me personally, this is the same exact thing that happened with the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I remember that backlash.
You had that hype, you had everything, and then you just
You
dropped
Do
it.
do you believe that The Last of Us Part One originally came out in 2013? It's been
2013,
10,
it
10
did.
years
Yeah,
ago.
it's been 10 years and they still don't have a successful PC port.
Like, what is going on here? But yeah, I definitely agree because think about it. Most of the games that they've been bringing to PC because they're trying to compete with Xbox, and they just are floundering in this instance. Spider-Man has been the only successful port. Returnal, which was a phenomenal PS5 game,
Mhm.
terribly ported. Then you had what was after that? There was another really bad one, and I'm just like, it's just one. Oh, the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection,
Yep,
garbage ass port. Now you got Last of Us, your second biggest IP, garbage ass port. Like, what is going on here?
they screwed it, man. And I don't. Hopefully, they fix that shit ASAP,
Yeah, they
like as
better,
ASAP as possible,
right?
because
Because
there's a lot of people that are pissed off about this game right now.
right, because this ain't it.
But
This is not it, Chief.
But what has been happening though is that Steam has been offering those refunds basically in perpetuity.
That's good. At least.
Regardless of hours playtime. The last I checked, it was, I mean, you could have 5, 6, 7 hours of playtime on this, and they were still going to give you your money back.
Smart people.
So yeah. But speaking of updates and things like that, we do have an update for Gran Turismo 7. That's going to be update 131. That went live back on the 29th. That came with 5 new cars, 2 new layouts for Nürburgring, and new scapes locations. So
That's
looking
cool.
good there. But going on with games that didn't really come out and release well, Forspoken is getting in the In Tanto We Trust DLC. Maybe that will be the turning point they need.
I hope because this game
That'll be,
looked
yeah,
great. I was looking
it
forward to
looks
Forspoken.
fantastic. Yeah. So this is going to be coming out on May 26th, and this is actually going to take place 25 years before the main story. And actually, it's going to detail the events that did lead up to the destruction of the Tantas.
Yeah.
So
Really,
yeah,
really eager for that because I was reading the article in the Game Informer, and they were talking about the story and stuff like that, and like the reality of world kind of got like split. Like this lady's like in like a normal city, like Bronx or somewhere in New York, I think it is, and then next you know she's like in this like fantasy world, but then like she can like weave back and forth in between realities. So like the premise of the story is there, and like she's this really like bad person, like in society she's a bad individual, but like she's trying to redeem herself, and then this shit happens, and she's like, well, what the fuck? Now she got to basically save the world. So it's like, okay, story's there. How did they drop the bag on this one? And again, it's the Square Enix, which we'll talk about them a little bit later on, but we'll see how that goes.
yeah. So next up, we have I believe this is Live Alive, Live Alive, Live Alive, Live Alive.
I
Who
forget what it's
knows?
called.
So it was a Nintendo exclusive. That is officially coming to PlayStation and PC on April 27th. And then to wrap up our PlayStation news, we do have the PlayStation Plus free games for April. So it's going to be Sackboy, A Big Adventure, Meet Your Maker, and Tales of Iron.
Yeah. Yeah, two big games here. Sackboy, it's a PlayStation classic, like iconic franchise. Obviously, Meet Your Maker we talked about earlier. It's a first person shooter like space game, but you're building your bases, and the other team has to raid you in a certain amount of time. Whatever, looks really cool. I may give it a try as well because it is coming to Xbox. And I remember watching this when it got premiered at either Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards. Can't remember which Jeff Keighley show I was watching that was at, but it looked pretty interesting. Roger wasn't too high on it, but it was one of those I was like, maybe I'll give it a try. But I'm not dropping $60 or $70 on it to give it a try. Not at all.
Don't blame you. Don't blame me at all. That's not try money.
No, 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 no.
Absolutely not.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, moving on to our next topic here, man. So, yeah, I know you gotta hit the bathroom
Yeah.
real quick.
I'll be right back for 2 seconds.
I'll
Yep.
talk here with the gamers. So we got Multiverses, right? One of the biggest fighting games that came out of left field, a potential rival to Super Smash Brothers by Warner Brothers, right? Have unlimited IPs. Come to find out, this game has been an open beta this entire time. No matter how many seasons we went through, no matter how much money you spent on this game, they just decided to pull the plug on the game and said, "Hey guys, thanks for playing the open beta. Game's not coming back until 2024." So why the fuck did this game seem like it was fully released, fully functioning? We were getting new characters every other week, new content update, new balancing. The game was out. Then they realized, damn, the player base dropped off, and guess what, guys? It's gone, and it's a really bad time to remove this kind of game because we got to think about it here. We got all it's the fighting game renaissance. I talk about this week after week right now, with Tekken 8 coming out. We have Street Fighter 6 coming out. We have uh, all of these fighting games that are here. Oh, this is one of the worst times, and what really blows my mind is that it is by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has so many IPs to pull from, and I just really don't get it. And it just really makes me question, like, what is going on with Warner Brothers? They did really terrible with Gotham Knights. We talked about the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, how that's being delayed. And then with the movies, man, the shakeup of the industry with the movies, the DCU, they rebooted that, and all the movies that have been coming out so far have been mediocre. And it's just that what Warner Brothers needs to rethink their strategic approach to all of this IPs. But Scott, I don't know how
Yeah,
much
and
of you cost like with
seeing all the
multiverse is
good
crazy.
waste.
It blows my mind, dude. Like, I really don't understand what is going on with multiverses, because to me this game seemed like it out. I didn't even know it was in beta. I thought this game has been fully released. It was getting updates. It had seasons.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, and
you
it's like,
don't
so
you
was it
don't
really a beta?
right.
I don't think it was. But I think it's the same sense that they were saying that the first Warzone was, always an open beta. Everything's always an open beta now. If you call it a beta,
You're
you
good.
can't complain if you can't complain if it's fucking broken.
Right. That I mean, right now we
You
see
know?
that with DMZ. DMZ is still an open beta.
Oh yeah, yeah, still an open beta. But no, like you were saying, they have so many intellectual properties that they could have used. They have so much stuff that they were able to pull from, and then they just stopped. We were getting characters every week.
Yeah.
And they just pulled the plug.
Right.
So
They stopped updating
it's,
the game. They stopped bringing characters to it, and then they were like, I wonder why our player base stopped. Like, well, you stopped giving me a reason to come
we
back to
stopped
it.
giving them shit. Yeah, well, but then again, that also takes us back into that conversation that we did have during our second ad break there about the live service game. So it's not uncharted waters, but muddy, definitely, because why did players stop? Well, they stopped getting new shit.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when there was so much to pull from. I still feel like something else had to have been going on in that, because that was a fully functional game. They were pushing updates, they were doing everything, and then they just pulled it and said, "Sorry guys, that was a beta."
Right.
Just yeah,
It's really ridiculous. I mean, like, look, I have fucking Bugs Bunny here from Warner Brothers, and you act like they couldn't do crossovers. Like, they could have done crossovers with other companies, like whether it's Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. Like, you could have branched out if you really wanted to. If for some reason you couldn't pull from your own catalog.
And that's if they ran out of characters. That's if they ran out of people to pull.
Right, because
Like,
Fortnite is a prime example. They fucking pull from anything and everything. Everything in the world is in Fortnite.
you have Piccolo and Gohan fighting Ash and fucking Charizard. I mean, maybe not really, but like that's how close these collaborations were
Right.
in succession to each other. And it's like, dude, how could you not? Like, Warner Brothers couldn't do this? You mean to tell me Warner Brothers couldn't do this? Warner Brothers could have done this. I'm still thinking something else going on. My conspiracy mind is going just
Right.
like, what
I mean,
really happened?
I don't know how much of my whole spiel you caught, but I was like, look at Warner Brothers right now. They fumbled with Gotham Knights. Suicide Squad,
did,
Kill the
yeah.
Justice League is fumbled already. It's got delayed. And then looking at the movie industry with the whole DC universe, they were like, we brought in a new director that's going to be our Kevin Feige, and we're going to reboot the franchise, and all the movies that are going to come out are going to be great, but they're not. The first one with Shazam was not good at all in any way, shape, or form. Black Adam was fucking phenomenal, but they were like, that movie's not part of the universe.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there. Somebody just stays screwing up, honestly, because there's no need for this much chaos in any with the DC, with anything Warner Brothers, or Multiverses game. There's no real need for this chaos. The game was doing fine. People enjoyed that game. People also enjoyed having the same actor do the same superhero for more than 2 movies in a row, but they also jacked that up. So I mean, I don't know. It feels like it's designed chaos. I'm thinking Marvel and somebody else. They've got a plant somewhere in the upper echelons to just plan this stuff out that way. That's the only thing that in my head makes sense.
Right.
Because there's no way you have that much IP and you have that much money to do what you want to do with your IPs and then still have this.
Right. It sounds like poor leadership or something's going on.
It could be very poor leadership. It could be just man, I don't know. Dave over in marketing fucked everything up. I don't know
Yeah.
who Dave in marketing is. If the reason is Dave in
Yeah.
marketing,
We're gonna blame
but
it on
like,
him.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, their middle management team is just a revolving door of people
That
who suck and have never opened a comic book in their life. I don't know.
that's what I'm naming this episode. Dave over at marketing.
Dave over in marketing just fucked it up,
Yep.
dude. Man,
So
but you know who's not fucking up though?
tell me,
Resident Evil 4,
aka Capcom.
aka Capcom. Man, they've been killing it.
Doesn't Capcom have a fighter game that's coming out that's not
You know
going to be in
what?
beta?
I do believe that was something that was discussed. Ah man, but it's gonna be weird because it's coming out and it's not gonna be in open beta perpetually.
Yeah.
Man, man, I can't wait to see what it is. Who knows? Who knows?
But tell me about Resident Evil, man.
Man, so Resident Evil has been absolutely destroying it. So they sold over 3 million units in the first 2 days. And to give some of our viewers and listeners an idea of that, so Resident Evil Village, which was regarded as another one of the best Resident Evil games, that took 4 days to reach 3 million. So we're looking at half the time, same amount. But so what we're talking now is we're talking about cumulative shipments of the game in the series now exceeds 135 million units since the first title debut of 1996.
That's a lot.
So lots.
To be honest.
That's all. That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot. Now, granted, it was over a very large span of time, but still, that is. I mean, that is something to be impressed by. What is not something to be impressed by is the fans of the Resident Evil 4 remake, and not all of the fans, but some that are just being a little bit too nasty to some of the people in this remake. So for anybody who doesn't know, and not to push any spoilers, but I mean, you know, you're about 18 years too late. Ada Wong is in this game. You know, she makes her little guest appearances along with Luis, so and others that you know would be spoilers if you played less than 8 hours of the game. So the actual voice actor though, Lily Gao, so she had to delete her Instagram posts because she was getting harassed by angry fans. This is another example of like toxic fandoms.
Yeah.
And how we said a while back in a couple other episodes, people are gonna fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Regardless. Being not super hyped for a certain thing in a game is okay, but going to the actual voice actor's page and saying things like, "You ruined the game for me. I can't believe they chose you instead of the other actress."
That's a bit excessive.
It's terrible. And the other actress was unavailable because they didn't want her.
Right.
Because she joined a union. And if there's one thing that people hate,
Our unions.
it's voice actors joining unions because then they have to get treated and paid fairly.
Oh,
But
imagine that.
yeah, how dare they? But man, some of the things that people were saying, they're like, "You ruined the remake. I feel like I was just wasting my money by buying the deluxe edition to get this voice actor to dub Ada. Great, now when Separate Ways comes out, I have to put it on mute. Worst voice acting I have heard in years. Why Capcom hired you instead of the past actresses beyond me." That's because Capcom doesn't like unionized voice actors. What else? We got, "Your voice acting was horrible in the RE4 remake. It sounded super stiff and there was nothing seductive about it. It didn't fit at all. OMFG, I hope they don't hire you as Ada's voice actor for another game."
That's pretty dark, man. That's pretty.
It's really, yeah. They went, and it's just too far.
Right.
It's just very, very too far, and she did not deserve that.
Those are the people that don't belong on the
She
internet.
she did her job, and you know what? A voice actor is, yes, it's the person you hear, but that is still a very small part of what goes into that.
Yeah.
So like the voice actor is there. What does the voice actor do? They're the voice.
Right.
Okay, what else goes into that? Script, editing, like directorship. There's so much to play out here that you can't just go right to the voice actor and say, "You sucked, be better. We never want you. You're
Right.
terrible."
That's like if we attacked Hayden Christensen for all those terrible lines in Star Wars, but really it was George Lucas.
I would like to say this right now. I have never complained about Hayden Christensen in the prequels.
I have not either.
I was one of those. I didn't care. But then again, that's the same thing here. Like, yeah, does Ada sound different? Yeah. Uh, I didn't really care that she wasn't as seductive because I don't care about video game characters sounding seductive. Apparently, Claudia does.
Right.
So I mean, I get it. It's part of the character, and that's part of how she is. And so to be like, that's kind of meh, is understandable. But to do this,
Yeah, don't attack the person
absolutely,
for it.
absolutely uncalled for. Absolutely uncalled for. Disgraceful.
Attack
Be better.
Capcom, if anything.
Yeah, yeah. Just be better. I be better people.
Yeah.
I
Not that
wasted
difficult.
$60 because your voice. Like, get out of here.
That's no.
Get out of here.
You tell me.
Absolutely.
You tell me the 99% of the other game, the rest of the game was that bad. Like,
Your 8% stake in the game really fucked up the other 92%.
yeah, no,
Get
thank
out
you.
of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Grow up. Be better. Disgusting.
So, let me talk a little bit about Dragon Age, which is trying to be better, I think, here because BioWare veteran Mark Daraha, I probably butchered his last name. Sorry for that.
It's Dara.
Dara, and also the Mass Effect team are now helping to finish Dragon Age 4. And really, the question I wanted to impose here on the panel was: is this because the game is that massive, or is there some turmoil or like something going on behind the closed doors that we're not seeing that they really needed that help from that team? What's really going on
Man,
here?
I don't know. And it raises other questions, and there's always other things that have to be considered. Like, what else are we considering? What you have here laying off 6% of their workers.
Right.
At first, it's like maybe the game is massive. If the game's that massive, would you lay off 6% of your workers and bring in? And I mean, you would bring in another team. You would bring in, a team that a Mass Effect team that just had this huge success.
Right.
Uh, Maybe both. I don't know. I haven't seen anything to show me that it's trouble in River City.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to just immediately say there's not.
Right. Just
So hopefully,
real quick, just want to give shout out Nerdy Squid. Appreciate the follow. Thanks for joining into
hey,
the
Nerdy
podcast here.
Squid, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you.
But yeah, I definitely agree. But yeah, laying off 6% of the workers, maybe that's why they had to bring in the Mass Effect team. Because what if that 6% workers were majority from the Dragon Age team? And then that would make
Could have
sense.
been.
Like that, it could
Could
all
have,
tie
yeah.
together because these
It
were
could
two
have been.
these
Yeah.
these were two separate articles here with Dragon Age and then them laying off 6% of the workers and then putting two to two together. It may make sense. It may make
It
sense.
might.
But
It,
I'm
it
I'm okay
might.
if they're
And
bringing
yeah.
in both Mark and the Mass Effect team because Mass Effect Legendary Edition was a phenomenal reboot. I still got to play through the
Yeah.
third game still, but it was a huge success. It was a huge success compared to the Andromeda, which was a god awful game. But maybe with the new upcoming Mass Effect game that is coming out, might be a really hit. It might be a big hit here, and only time will
It,
tell.
I mean, it could be, and I mean, with Mark and the Mass Effect team coming in, I mean, I really want to be hopeful for that
Yeah,
and say that that's because maybe some finesse, maybe a little bit of panache that they brought and coming off of that high, like we said for the Mass Effect reboot. Maybe they're going to bring some of that into the Dragon Age 4. Only time will tell, like you had said.
exactly.
So, but speaking of some more games announced, so we got Sega and Relic Entertainment, Company of Heroes 3. So they got an update named Operation Sapphire Jackal. That's going to be coming out. Haven't seen much about a date or anything like that. But for those who do play a Company of Heroes, be on the lookout for that. This is going to add in-game cosmetics, time challenges, and more still yet to be announced about what they're adding there.
Right.
So,
So, in regards to updates, though, Vampire Survivors, probably a vast majority of people know this game. It actually just recently won a BAFTA award, which you did throw that
mhm.
article into our Discord, and that's awesome because they were. I love the name of the article, like an Xbox exclusive wins a BAFTA award when it's not really an Xbox exclusive, like maybe console
Yeah,
exclusive, but it's on mobile, it's on PC, blah blah blah. We get it. Really fun game. I really enjoy it. I play it all the time. But it's getting its second DLC called Weaves an Enchanted Fairy Tale, It's coming out actually just here in about 11 days on the 13th. You're getting 8 new characters, which is fucking huge, to be honest with you. 13 new weapons, a new stage, 7 new music tracks, and 20 new achievements to re earn that 100% save that you may have on Vampire Survivors, because that's really tough, man. Like honestly, like there's like fucking hundreds of fucking achievements in this game, and they're only worth like 5 gamer score per one, and you're trying to get to that 1,000, which is obviously more than that now once you start adding DLC, and your people really strive to get that 100%, and they're adding 20 new achievements that you'll have to go out there and grind and
Yeah,
get.
and thanks to this new update, you get to do it all over again.
Yeah, have fun doing that, which is awesome. It just reinvigorates. Like, man, I got to play this game. I want 100% this game again,
Yeah.
and check out all this new content's coming out. So I'm actually really excited for it because I actually have not played the first DLC, so I got to play that and the second DLC. So I got a lot to look
Oh, yeah,
forward
for
to with
sure.
Vampire Survivors. That'll be on my
Oh
games
yeah.
my games played list here again soon.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But Scott, if you want
So,
to go ahead and round out our gaming news with our last topic here,
man, we had talked about this. Was it the last episode or the episode before
I
that?
should have made this the ad break conversation.
Keeping keeping NFTs the hell out of our video games.
Yeah,
So, Square Enix, you will know them as the final makers of the Final Fantasy series, announced a Final Fantasy VII NFT trading card set. Why? So it didn't really say anything other than just it's going to be a collectible trading cards to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. Yes, I get it. Did we need NFTs? Absolutely not. That wasn't a necessity. But they are going to be putting those out for the 25th anniversary. So any huge fans of Final Fantasy VII who are in here live with us, who are hearing us at a later time, keep an eye out for those. You will get those, and I mean that's it. You'll just get them. Nothing else will happen. You'll
right.
get them, and then nobody else will have them
Yeah, yeah,
because
exactly.
they're NFTs. So
Yeah, so we'll
yeah,
see how that plays out. I don't know who's really looking forward to collecting Final Fantasy VII trading cards, but I'm sure there's an
well,
audience out there
and
that may want them.
yeah, I'm sure there's a huge amount of people that are really excited for this, and that's kind of why this is not as terrible as other randomized NFTs
Yeah,
that come out. Final Fantasy VII is still the most popular game in that entire franchise. People love that game. I mean, there's artwork. There's personally, I think it's the most popular in the franchise. So, I mean, I guess NFTs did make sense when you start rolling it over a little bit more, because those are going to be highly collectible, highly valued after some time.
yeah.
I'm still just not on the NFT train, man.
I'm not. I think it's going to be
I,
something
I,
that's like
I,
it's not really big. Not as big as what it once was, like a couple of months ago. Like people were kind of like,
yeah,
okay, NFTs they're cool, but it's not going anywhere because the metaverse isn't going anywhere until we get that virtual
yeah.
reality gaming, the virtual reality world that we're going to live in. NFTs are really not going to mean anything until that really happens. So we'll see how that goes. But moving on to our last segment of the podcast, we got our gaming leaks and rumors, and we got 2 of them here for you guys. Kick it off with some Xbox rumors. They got 2 here. The Indiana Jones that was announced by Bethesda is rumored to be an Xbox exclusive. Hey, I'm all for it because this will be our competition to that Uncharted series. That's basically more or less the same concept of a game, except we're getting Indiana Jones, and the movie's coming out
I
here soon
would
too.
I would 100% hook up my Xbox or get a new Xbox to play as Indiana Jones.
Just get Game Pass on your
Period. End of
PC.
sentence.
Just like,
Period. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna.
you're gonna get
Period.
Game Pass
End of-
finally.
period. I'm gonna get Game Pass finally, so I can just go ahead and just watch all the new games roll by as I don't play them, and I
Right.
only play Indiana Jones.
Right.
If this is really coming out and this is gonna be, I mean, I'm playing it,
Right.
and
Well,
I
I got
love Indiana
I got an
Jones.
easy access for you here for Xbox Game Pass for you, Scott. Since you don't have it, Xbox Game Pass is coming out with obviously the family and friends, but it's not in the United States, not in a lot of the big countries yet. But it could be imminent. New Zealand has recently saw an advertisement, and usually when New Zealand gets it, the United States is probably right behind them as well.
Yeah,
And that means you can hop on board. We can probably get me, you, Roger. That's already 3, and you can have 5 people on it, and so you'll get 5 people and pay like $8 individually.
and that's another plug for how the family and friends could absolutely dominate
Yeah,
for
it
Xbox
allows
Game
people
Pass.
that may or may not want to get this get it. because now they're paying $8 as opposed to $15 or $20 in the
Yeah.
future. I'm sure they'll raise the price eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. If you want to round out our leaks and rumors though, here this one's actually
Man,
pretty interesting.
this is interesting as a game. I still will never be interested in this as a movie.
Okay.
However, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora has been leaked. So this is from a prominent Ubisoft leaker, Script Leaks R6, created a Twitter thread filled with details that appear to have been taken from the game's product sheet. It will center around a Navi child who is abducted by the RDA and trained to serve them in their conquest. But we all know how that goes. So the plot is largely going to seem to copy and paste in the first movie as it focuses on the protagonist reconnecting with their heritage and then actually, turning around and protecting Pandora.
Yeah.
So not the Stockholm syndrome we saw in the first movie, but definitely going to be a little bit of get back to your heritage and protect,
Yeah.
your world from those who would seek to take it from you.
Right.
So
Yeah,
interesting there.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're starting to get some more details in regards to this game because I think we may see this game this year or as late as next year. Honestly, I mean, this could be an early 2024 game from Ubisoft, especially because like Ubisoft doesn't really have much coming out that's really confirmed. We know that it is one of their next games releasing outside of the Assassin's Creed Mirage, which comes out this holiday season. So maybe we get Assassin's Creed in the holiday, and then after the first of the year, we'll get Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. So fill in
Yeah.
that gap because obviously we're getting Avatar 3 soon because we just
Mhm.
had Avatar 2 and he wants to do one like every other year or something like that. So we'll definitely be on the lookout in regards to that. But that is all of our leaks and rumors and our entire podcast, actually. So we want to thank everyone who did check us out live today, and we appreciate the new follow from Nerdy Squid. But we do also want to thank everyone who checks us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But Scott, where can the viewers find you at?
So you can find me on twitter.com. Name there is Scoby1. You can find me on Steam at Scoby1 as well. My Battle.net Scoby1. Numbers are 11780. And if you want to talk with me on Discord, my name is Scoby1 with the numbers 9369. How about you, Vic?
And check me over at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _ Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. If you want to game, party up, maybe play some Warzone, catch some dubs on a weekly basis, check me out there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Any questions, concerns, or even if you want to come on the show, send me a message there. And I'll be streaming over on my Twitch at twitch.tv / Mr. Never Chillin. This week will probably be finally Rage 2 and or Hogwarts Legacy, or if I find another wonderful game on Game Pass, because Game Pass is loaded with those hidden gems. But we want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.
Thanks for joining us.
Restart podcast.